Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sam Swanson, the prestigious. Yeah, and just that intro is going nowhere. Didn't really think about it, but that's okay. I'm here with my friend Paisan,
And
who's
Token Black, of course, I am here today.
who's recording and editing this because I'm lazy. And we're gonna be doing an analysis, kind of, essentially for ourselves, because let's be honest, who else really watches these videos? Of the anticipated match of the week for the first week of the summer split
Yeah.
of the Midwest Pokemon League.
And the match of the week this week was Tickle and Patty, mainly because me and Zach forgot to save the replay. And, let's just go ahead and watch this battle.
Before we hop right into the battle, let's just look. There's some interesting things to kind of point out in the team matchup that we're seeing between these two teams. The first is that neither of them are bringing their Mega, with Patrick, Bruce packing the powerful Mega Mawile at this point in the split, and Brennan Tickle with Mega Sableye, but neither of them brought them to this battle. Whether they're thinking that, hey, maybe Metagross puts in a lot of work against Patty's 11, or, maybe Seismitoad is just going to be an untouchable god, So that's an interesting point that probably went into the team building of both these players. So hopping into the game, we see just a pretty standard Seismitoad versus Suicune lead. Tickle leads off with a Ice Beam from Suicune, mostly because Seismitoad can have Water Absorb, and that can be real annoying. And as we mentioned in the win cons pad, Brucey throws up his rocks to get those chip off the Salamence and the Zapdos. And there we see the Water Absorb was a thing, so he can't really burn the Seismitoad. And already on turn 2, he's lost the leftovers on Suicune, which is honestly a really big thing just because Heatran does a lot of work to the team. I mean, it does super effective damage to 2 of the Mons, and then it has the chance of burning Salamence and Snorlax, which are physical threats. And Suicune's the only Mon on Tickle's team that really enjoys swapping into a Lava Plume.
And in turn 8, we see Patty go hard to his Latios, attempting to stop a potential setup from that Mence. However, Tickle, predicting this, decides to just go straight for his Dragon Claw, knocking out Latios and getting the first kill of the game. An excellent play on his part, and puts Patty really in a defensive spot.
As Patty and Tickle fight for, I guess, the right to have rocks up on the field, Patty predicts this, sends out Seismitoad. Tickle keeps his Defogger out there, and Tickle successfully clears away the rocks, but at the cost of the leftovers on his Zapdos.
And as they continue fighting, Seismitoad gets paralyzed by Zapdos' static, confirming no pressure stall today. Unfortunately, turn 12 happens, and Seismitoad gets burned by the first Scald of the game.
Zapdos gets burned by the first Scald.
Yeah, you're right.
As turn 16 passes and Ozzymarl swapped out for Seismitoad, we are starting to see a reoccurring theme. Tickle leaving his walls in, Seismitoad knocking them off, getting rid of their leftovers and their passive recovery, and then hitting them with that one turn, one Scald, one burn special.
And as we see, Jirachi gets off that wish, and it leaves Patty thinking, will he switch? Will he stay in? What is Tickle possibly thinking to do? Obviously, Tickle's prime directive is getting rid of those rocks, so he goes straight into that Zapdos, and the unfortunate Earthquake mispredict. Unfortunately, though, I don't think Seismitoad really could have done anything, nor could a double have saved him from getting rid of these rocks. So I think Patty made the safe predict, even if it didn't work out very well.
On turn 20, you can see Metagross versus Seismitoad. The Steel Psychic matchup into Water Ground isn't necessarily the greatest, but Tickle whips out the Grass Knot Tech, revealing that he did do his prep, but even though Grass Knot is ×4 effective, it's just not enough to take out this big, beefy frog.
That is with 2 B's, the B emoji. Maybe I don't cut. That's a pretty good laugh right there. And here on turn 24, we see what has to be one of the most pivotal moments of the game. Brucey deciding to save his Seismitoad for potential sack fodder or to keep the rocks up later on in the game, decides to hard into his Heatran on the grass knot. This could be seen as a great play by Brucey, but it can also be seen as a misplay by Tickle, deciding to go for the grass knot on a Mon that was pretty much not needing to die to a grass knot. I'm pretty sure he could have clicked Zen Headbutt or Earthquake, or alternatively made the double into Zapdos, predicting one of the steel types to come out. However, he did not, and this makes Patty look like a champ.
I think it's more of a misplay on the hand of our fearless champion, just because he either misplayed in prep by not bringing fighting or ground coverage for the steel types on Brucey's team, or it was a misplay in that moment because there's no way that Metagross wasn't packing enough attack to be able to kill a Seismitoad from 20%, and the grass knot was just redundant, and so you're really losing out on a lot of momentum here because you're forcing the Metagross switch where rocks are still on the field.
And as we see this Suicune come in after a roar from Snorlax to Suicune on the Heatran, we see Tickle decide or opt to go for the Ice Beam, predicting a Seismitoad, not wanting that Mon up another 13% plus leftovers, so even more percent. He goes for the Ice Beam. However, Brucey predicts this, goes for his Azumarill switch instead, and utterly comes out looking like a champ with this Azu in on a Suicune for free, although he did take a crit, so.
Brucey reveals that he is Normalium Z Azumarill, rips out the Z Belly Drum, and risks the one Scald, going for the burn, because at this point, all the defensive kind of Mons on Tickle's team have been chunked down enough to where he's confident that it can, even if burned, sweep through it with some nicely timed Aqua Jets. So, kind of just in summary, P. Brucey clicks that Z Belly Drum and risks the Scald Burn to trade for the game.
Not just once, but twice. And Tickle, unfortunately, does not have the P. Brucey Magic 8 Ball luck. He just can't Scald Burn. The water is cold today, I am afraid. And as Suicune goes down to the Play Rough after the second Scald does not burn, Tickle decides he wants to bring in his Ments, get 2 Intimidates off for the sake of sacking both of his Ments and Metagross, both pseudo-legendaries from Hoenn, to try and win the game with his 2 defensive kind of walls that have already been burnt by Seismitoad previously. So he gets Azumarill down to +4 as opposed to +6, and sacks his Ments and Metagross. He then proceeds to sack his Rachi because he either failed to run the calc or didn't realize that Zapdos was indeed bulky enough, or maybe Brucey just got a low roll, I don't really know. However, it does result in Jirachi also going down to this Azumarill, and Zapdos taking a considerable chunk before knocking it out.
One can argue that the reason why Tickle made that switch to Jirachi is that the game was kind of over at this point. He'd lost most of his defensive cores, and there was 5 Mons of Brucey against Tickle's 2. And that is one point that rings true, but even if he doesn't sack Jirachi and he leaves the Zapdos at 8% and dead, there's still a chance if Tickle plays almost immaculately that he could pull through a W with Jirachi and Snorlax.
But it would truly have to be like immaculate play, God level. And as we see in the coming turns, Brucey burns the Snorlax, making sure that Earthquake will not be able to kill his Heatran even after 2 crits, and also Caesar will be safe from Fire Punches, as we see later on in the game. And at this point, he roars just to stunt and kill that Zapdos. Absolute flex by the Madman. And we just proceed to continue until the game ends in a stunning 3-0 victory for Brucey. And that's it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to stay on the known in everything CDHPL, MWPL, whoops, Freudian slip. We'll talk about it. And catch y'all.
It's called rebranding.
Shut up, Swan. Catch y'all later. Peace.